Jets fans, welcome back to another session of Jets Talk here on Knicks Bros TV. Welcome to a very long version of it, just for the fact that I'm going to be recapping the entire season that we counted down for in the off season, and so on. So, you know, the season kind of started a little differently. Well, I shouldn't say that, because for the fact that ever since Rex Ryan has been our coach for the past 6 years, we've had this, huge hype around us. I feel like there's been even more media toward the New York Jets. I don't know if sometimes it's a good thing. Obviously, sometimes it was a bad thing. But, the season kind of started off with us being a contender in the league. The one thing, and I consider this to be a downfall of Rex Ryan, is he always tends to be optimistic about everything, and he's very outspoken. He lets you know it. And I think a primary reason why he did get fired this year was for the fact that he kept hyping up the team for something that is going to be, and there was, a great amount of attention to the New York Jets. And since they didn't live up to the expectations, that really hurt his reputation, I would say. If I was in Rex's shoes, I would have kind of let it be known, well, I'm going to try to do the best I can with the players that I've been given. I mean, that way you're not calling out the GM, and yet you're still kind of saying, hey, I need some help here. I can't just do it with the players that I have. So, but hey, it is what it is. Obviously, we're in 2015 right now, so Happy New Year's. Before I go ahead and get started, I'm trying to set up a Google Hangout for New York Jets fans, kind of get together so we can discuss and recap the season all together, but this is just my version. So please tune in tomorrow night. I'm trying to get something going Sunday night. I'm not going to go ahead and promise it, just for the fact that I don't know how everyone's schedule is going to work, but I'm really aiming to do that. So basically the season started out bright. Not the best results we got against the Oakland Raiders, but it was a 19-14 victory. Geno Smith, I don't think in that game he showed to be super weak, but it is what it is. So we went ahead and we won that game 19-14. And the next game that we played, that game I thought was the reason why our season kind of turned around in a sour way. We had a 14-0 lead in Lambeau, and we ended up losing that game 31-24. After that game, our offense went on a terrible red zone offense. We couldn't. After that game, we weren't able to get as many touchdowns that we wanted. Then we went on to lose against the Bears. Lions got blown out in San Diego. That was really bad. I mean, I remember the media was all over us. Then we lost against the Broncos. Lost a very close one against the Patriots. Nick Folk missed that field goal. And Nick Folk this year has also been a reflection of the Jets. He hasn't been his usual Nick Folk. I mean, there's few kickers, in the league that you always say, all right, well, this guy's got it. Adam Vinatieri was one. Jankowski's the other. I consider Nick Folk to be one too, but this year he was very disappointing. And then losing against the Bills the way we did at home, that was embarrassing. Lost against the Chiefs, really good win against the Steelers, and on and on and on. And our record, is a 4-12. We got the 6th round pick going to the draft. I think the biggest letdown for this entire thing for me was, obviously the Rex is gone, but the biggest letdown is we still don't have a franchise quarterback. You don't know how much it means to have a franchise quarterback. As a fan, you could sleep better. You kind of know what you're getting yourself invested in. And as far as the New York Jets goes, I mean, we've had so many quarterbacks in and out of the team that it's kind of frustrating. Think about it. We hadn't had a franchise quarterback since Joe Namath. Yesterday was his 50th anniversary of signing with the Jets. So, it's just one of those things where it just irritates me, because going to next season, we don't know who's going to be our quarterback. Whether if it's going to be Geno Smith, or we're going to try to draft somebody, or are we going to try to, going to the free agency. So this is my take on what the Jets are going to do as far as free agency is concerned and as far as the draft is concerned. And I'll kind of go ahead and kind of get into it. Now, as far as the draft, I think we're going to go for Amari Cooper. I'm okay with that. I'm actually going to be pretty ecstatic if we get Amari Cooper. That means, yes, we are going to give up on trying to draft a quarterback, which I'm okay with. Some of you might not agree with me, but I just can't see Tampa, having the first round pick, giving up Marcus Mariota. I just can't see it. I know Jacksonville won't try to get, Jameis Winston, nor with the Raiders. Maybe the Redskins might. But honestly, that's a guy I don't want on my team. I think, if we're going to try to turn around and try to go to a, different route, Jameis Winston, that's part of Rex Ryan's and John Itzig's circus that we've already flipped that chapter. So I think, we should aim for Amari Cooper in the first round. The way I see it, Marcus Mariota is going to go to Oregon. One guy that I really like, because I'm a USC fan, I like Leonard Williams, but I'm pretty sure Jacksonville is going to try to get him. So as far as the first round's concerned, we're not going to invest in the quarterback. We're going to go ahead and go with that wide receiver. Now, maybe down the line, maybe in a second round pick, we can get, a Sean Manning from Oregon State, or, I don't know about Cody Kessler, even as an SC fan, even though he had huge numbers. I don't know if I want him. Maybe Kevin Hogan might still be around, not sure. But, as far as the draft this year, I'm not looking forward to getting a quarterback, unfortunately. As bad as I don't like the sound of this, going to next season, I really think we're still going to have Geno Smith. The one thing, though, that I really want to do, if I was put in that position, is, since we give Geno Smith a shot an entire season, give Matt Sims the shot. I mean, it just feels like we always bring Matt Sims in for one game or two, and then we evaluate him based on that. But I think, Geno Smith got the opportunity. Why not give it to Matt Sims? I mean, we did sign him. So, I don't know what's going to happen there. Honestly, the way I want it to pan out for me is, which I don't think is going to happen now since Brian Hoyer is kind of resatisfied with the Cleveland Browns. But if Brian Hoyer decides to be a free agent, I think we should get him. He's 29 years old. He's been in the league for a little while. He's definitely not a franchise quarterback. He's just an easy fix for 1 year, 1 or 2 years. Started out with the Patriots for a couple of years. He went to the Steelers. He's kind of floated around and kind of found a home in Cleveland. But, the Browns did kind of let him down by having him step down. So it's not the best case scenario. I'm not going to sit here, I want Brian Hoyer all the way, but it's better than Geno Smith. But I don't know if that's going to work itself out. Kind of get into the players as far as what the players are doing. So if we stick with Geno Smith, it's going to be a quarterback. Great. As far as running backs are concerned, get rid of Chris Johnson right off the bat. I don't like Chris Johnson whatsoever. He was such a disappointing, signing that honestly, Chris Johnson was probably one of the biggest letdowns this year. I think as a running back, giving the ball to Chris Ivory a little bit more. It felt like Chris Ivory got into a groove this season a couple of times. And as soon as he did that, we just started, passing the ball even more. And it's like when you get him into a groove, you just got to keep giving the ball, let him run the ball, And I think Powell coming in as behind Chris Ivory, I think we're going to be all right. We're not going to have the best running game, but I think we're going to have a decent running game if we stay true to it. Get the ball out of Geno's hand as much as possible. As far as the wide receiving core, now if we decide to get Amari Cooper, for his first year, I'm assuming he's going to be your secondary wide receiver, or maybe even first. But there's going to be a question here, and it all depends how much money we want to spend on a wide receiver group. We've already signed Curly, so we're not going to get rid of him. We just signed Eric Decker and we just signed Percy Harvin. And we have a decent tight end that sometimes drops the ball. And then we go ahead and get Amari Cooper. That's an amazing wide receiver core if we decide to keep everyone. But if we don't decide to keep everyone, I think the way we should approach this situation is, since we've already committed to Curley, I think we should get rid of Eric Decker, keep Percy Harvin, because I think he's got potential if he grows with the offense, Amari Cooper and Curley, and obviously keep our tight end, Amaro. The only reason why I want to get rid of Eric Decker, if I had to, honestly, I'd keep the wide receiving core the way it is. If I had to, just for the fact that he had such a slow start to the season. He had a really amazing game against the Dolphins, but who cares, week 17. So that's the way I kind of see the wide receiver core. As far as our defensive backs are concerned, what can I say? It's the worst thing ever. Or wide receiving core is terrible. Pryor was such a bad selection, I thought. His coverage is terrible. His tackling is not compared as what the hype was. But, Marcus Williams and Phillip Adams did show some light. I still think we should go and draft some cornerbacks. I like the guy Carter from Stanford. I think we should definitely work on, definitely getting a defensive back strong. I think if we could maintain our front four, that would be amazing with Muhammad Wilkerson, Shelton Richardson. That'd be just awesome. Here's my twist into the entire thing. You guys might not like this, but I just started thinking about it ever since Woody Johnson just made that comment about, hey, how much you'd like to have Darrelle Revis back, and he came back and kind of said, well, that's not how I meant. So this is my take on it. I think since he's going to be a free agent next year, we go ahead and sign Darrelle Revis to a 2 years or a 1 year deal. Let's squash the beef. Let's bring him back home. It's the same scenario as Charles Woodson leaving Green Bay and coming back home to Oakland Raiders. And look how productive Charles Woodson is. And I feel the same way with Darrelle Revis. I still think, he's still a beast. He does well. His coverage is good. I think he's going to bring that veteran mentality back to this young defensive backs here. So I think that'd be great. I don't know if the Patriots are willing to give him up next year. They might try to re-sign him, but I think that would be a little twist for going to the season, especially with D. Milner. I hope he's not a bust. I really don't. Maybe he can be a good mentor to Milner. So that's kind of my take on what we should do, who we should get going into next season for the New York Jets. The only biggest question is our quarterback position. So, and that's the bread and butter of your football team, and the fact that we still have questions lingering over that is very frustrating. It's my dog freaking out. So, as far as Doug Marrone is concerned, there's been a huge hype. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. I had to take care of my dog there for a second. Now, as far as Doug Marrone is concerned, it's ironic how, as far as the Jets position opened up, he opted out of his contract. Doug Marrone, a little background on him. He's from Bronx, New York. He used to be the Jets offensive line coach from 2002-2005 when Herm Edwards was the football coach. Then he was an offense coordinator for the Saints. Then he was Syracuse, and he went to Syracuse, and he's with the Buffalo Bills. I think he does a heck of a job as far as developing and doing a good job on offense, and he had a good defense as well in Buffalo, really good defense. The only thing that strikes me as a question mark for Doug is the fact that the way he just opted out of that contract. To me, I like a guy that's loyal. I like a guy that's, Rex Ryan, he breathed, slept, ate New York Jets football. He was very passionate. He had a lot of respect for the franchise and its history. And that's the type of guy that I like. And the fact that the way he just left the Bills, I don't know if I can trust him. And that's just how I feel. But again, it is the business that we're in. So, you can't look at it the way I'm looking at it. But I just don't know how much I can trust this guy. And his record hasn't been too good either. I mean, he's been 25 for 25 in college, 15 and 17 in NFL. A little bit below 500, the same way Rex Ryan is. So technically, we're not getting someone better than Rex, nor are we getting someone lower than Rex. It's kind of on the same level. I know we're going to go ahead and interview Dan Quinn. He's a defensive coordinator for the Seahawks. I like him. I like him a lot. He used to be defensive coordinator for Florida as well. He was a defensive line coach for the New York Jets back in 2007. So he's not, a guy that's too much a stranger to the organization. The only concern I have with Dan Quinn is, and you guys tell me what you think, but he kind of brings that defensive mindset back to the Jets. That's not bad at all, but I really need an offensive mind coming into work our offense struggles. And if you guys look at it, I mean, we've always been known to have defensive-minded coaches. Obviously, Herm Edwards, defensive-minded coach. Rex Ryan, defensive-minded coach. I know Eric Mangini was a little bit more balanced compared to those two, but, it is what it is. So that's kind of my take on it. If I had to choose, I'm okay with Doug Marrone, but I think Dan Quinn should be given a shot as well. It is what it is, guys. I am very confused going to next season, but I think if we get Amari Cooper, get that wide receiver, get that huge body in there, it would be great. I guess I'm okay with Geno Smith as a quarterback again. I mean, as bad as that sounds, I really don't like the guy. And I don't think we should sign Michael Vick either. Just let him go. He has no interest in football. That's just how he played this year. No interest. So tell me what you think. Please tune in our Google Hangout for the New York Jets tomorrow night. I don't know if it's going to be between 7 or 8 Eastern time, but I'll definitely keep you guys posted. Please comment, subscribe down below. Let us know what you think, and go Jets.